Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this tutorial, we're going to build a fire saber or a fire sword. The first part is going to be building the grip or the hard surface, and the second part is going to be the fire simulation. If you like this tutorial and you want to see more, please make sure to like and subscribe and share. And if you want to download the project file, get access to more creative designs and learn from scratch with beginner-friendly tutorials, go and visit my Patreon page. I left the link in the description below. Without further ado, let's start this tutorial. Okay, let's start with grabbing a cylinder, move it up, and scale it down. Delete the face and extrude by pressing E and scaling down or up by pressing S. We are building the top of the grip where the fire is going to burst from. And E to extrude on the Z axis, then press F to close. Alt select this loop of faces and move it down on the Z axis. Then we're gonna press Alt and E to extrude along normals. Then we're gonna press F3, checker deselect, and another Option E or Alt E to extrude along normals. We're gonna scale down those faces. Just make sure to set the pivot point to individual origins. Move them up on the Z axis and select the bottom face loop the same way, checker deselect and extrude down on the Z axis. Then scale down the faces. Reselect those faces and scale them down. Then option select this face loop the same way, checker deselect and inset. Change the global axes to normal, then inset and move the face backward. You can also achieve that by extruding along normals and moving it towards the center. Reselect those faces and scale them down a little along the X local axis. And we're going to do the same thing with these faces. Inset, and then you could just extrude down or just move the face down. Option select this loop and scale it down, and we are almost finished. Just move it up and rename it to Saberhead or whichever name you want. Now grab another cylinder, scale it down on the Z-axis, and delete the face, the upper face again. And we're gonna scale up and extrude many times just to create the bottom. You don't have to stick to what I'm doing here. You don't have to copy it. You have the full creative freedom in terms of designing this. And finally, extrude up on the z-axis and add around 36 to 40 loop cuts and start selecting the faces and the way you want to stylize this grip. To circle select, just press C and select, and to deselect, press or hold down Shift and left click. If you're enjoying this design and you want to support the channel, please make sure to like and subscribe. That would help the channel reach out to many people. Now we could just extrude along normals, but I'm going to inset first, twice, so I make sure to add as many supporting loops as possible. Twice or 3 times are more than enough. Then you can extrude along normals. This way you make sure that you don't have pinching or wrong topology in the design. You can either use the knife tool or just connect vertices or join them together by pressing J and then circle select to create this window where the core, the flame core or the nuclear core, whichever you like to call it, is going to be visible. We're gonna do the same thing by insetting twice or 3 times to add supporting loops and then extrude along normals, but this time, because it's somewhat a window, we're gonna extrude backward or towards the center. Add a sub D surface modifier at level 2 preferably, and see your design, and you should see no pinching. That's how you know that your design is flawless. Now add some loop cuts by pressing Command R on the sides, and they're going to be the supporting loop cuts towards the faces. And we're going to join vertices together again, but we're going to add some density by adding more loop cuts. And after selecting the faces that you want to stylize, the same way, add some insets and extrude along normals. And now we're gonna design the ornaments, or the little, they resemble a screw, or I can't really remember what they were called, by grabbing a circle and reducing the number of vertices to 5, or however you want to build it. and bevel some edges here by pressing Command B. And add some loop cuts to the towards the heads or the sharp angles, and then extrude them along normals. Here I did not notice at the time, but I made a mistake with the topology. So I included the part where I fixed it, so you can see it. As you can see here, we have multiple faces that are intersected, and I didn't like that at all. So I wanted to change a little bit, just modify it in a way where we don't have any loose vertices or any holes in the design. And after connecting all the vertices with F, making quads here, just add some loop cuts, and that should be it. You can leave it as it is, but you can also add a subdivision surface modifier, or not, or just smooth it by angle. Add an array modifier and just duplicate it by pressing Shift D, and then set the array count to whichever number you want. Then place the ornaments on the faces where you want them to appear. Add some loops to the bottom face by extruding it and not subdividing it. You can stylize the bottom or the base however you want. The more curves you add to the whole topology, the more you will allow the light to interact with the design. By using Blender Kit in the Shading tab, just look for whichever material or texture you are interested in making your saber made of, and just click on it and it will be automatically applied. Make sure to adjust the scale in order to make it more realistic. Sometimes you have to readjust or reset the UV map in order to either mark the seams yourself and then angle unwrap, or automatically unwrapping it by going to UV tab and choosing Smart UV Unwrap. Here I'm just experimenting with the textures and just trying out different colors and different shaders. And now here we are separating by material by going to edit mode and selecting or circle selecting the faces that we want to be separated by the material, or like basically just assigning a different material to them. That's what we mean by separating by material. And you can do it either by vertex groups, or by just going to the material and adding materials, then assigning the faces or the vertices that you just selected to that material. But make sure that the first material that is assigned is going to be the base material. So in order to separate, you have to introduce more materials in the design. As you can see here, we just selected the faces and then we added a new material and assigned those faces to the new material. And in the shader window, if you don't know, where you see the slots or the slot number, like slot 1, slot 2, these represent the materials or the sections. As you can see, you have a wide variety of textures from BlenderKit, and they are all free. I left the link to the BlenderKit add-on in the description below. Just add it to your Blender and enjoy it. And this is gonna be the screen or the little window where we can see the core, the fire core. And now we're building the core. Just grab an icosphere. Option select the middle loop to create the ring around the core. Then Just reselect the middle loop and delete it. If you want, just keep it, it's up to you. Let's add a solidify modifier and a sub-T modifier, but I don't really like the smooth shape of it. So I'm gonna delete some topology like faces from the ring and from the sphere to give it a more unstable look, as if it was on the verge of blowing up. And later we're gonna add a driver to it. If you don't know what a driver is, it's basically um, an automatic keying or frame keying. Just add a molten lava or any radiant material or texture to the core, and add another sphere to it to resemble the nucleus. Rename them and put them in new collections by pressing M and add a new collection. Then place it where you want them to be, both the core and the shell. Go to the object properties and on the z-axis, the rotation, insert hashtag frame. That is the driver. It makes it rotate around the z-axis indefinitely. And now we're going to build the fire. If you want to skip, this is the fire simulation part. Okay, the first thing is grabbing an icosphere by pressing Shift and A, and let's subdivide it. Right click and choose subdivide, and press or hold down Shift, Alt, and S. Then drag the mouse to until you reach 1 as a value to make it into a perfect sphere. You don't have to do this part, but I like to do it just out of habit. As you can see on the right side, where you can see the properties tab and the outlier, you can see a lot of examples here. I have multiple emitters. By emitter, I mean the icosphere that is going to emit the fire. And if you are subscribed to my Patreon, you already have got the project file, so you know what I'm talking about. Place the icosphere on top of the head. First, we should not go and add a quick smoke effect because we are going to use the particle system first. So go to the Properties tab where it says Particles, and add a particle system to the emitter, which is the icosphere. First, the count is 1000. We're not changing it, and then we're changing the end frame to 1000. We're not going to change the lifetime, it's 50 here. So basically it's how long the particle will last for before it disappears. Go down to velocity and change the normal to 0.5 meter per second. And in order to make the particles shoot upward, we have to change two factors. The speed on the z-axis, and we have to set gravity to 0. Scroll down to where it says field weights and drag gravity to 0. As you can see, the particle stopped going down because we don't have any gravity. And to make it shoot up, we have to increase the z-axis alignment, basically the velocity on the z-axis. Set it to like 36, 37, and it actually it shapes the length of the saber. In terms of how we want it to be rendered as a halo or object, in the example that you see in the video, I rendered it as an object, which is the icosphere itself, the emitter. But you can experiment with multiple options and see what exactly which look or which shape of the fire you want it to be like. But for now, I'm just gonna jump to the emitter, go up to object and add a quick smoke effect to the emitter. By default, it's going to add a domain, a smoke domain or fire domain, and in the physics of the emitter, it's gonna set it to flow. Just scale up the emitter in order to fit the fire saber or the shape that you are aiming for. Go to the physics tab of the smoke domain, and we have it as gas, and set the resolution to 100 for now. Set the CFL, which is the max velocity per cell, to 2. The CFL number, the higher you go, the lower the number of simulation steps. Scroll down to gas and adjust the vorticity to 0.1 or 0.2. In terms of the fire, the reaction speed, the lower number means more fire, and higher numbers mean smaller fires. Set it to 0.6. And now scroll down to cache and set the end frame to 1000 for now. Change the bake type to all or modular, but don't forget to enable resumable so you can cancel the baking and go back to it at any time. And the last step, which is the emitter's physics, it should be set to flow. Flow type, change it to fire. Fire and smoke, depends on how you want the fire to be. Change the sampling sub-steps to 10, means more details, and the fuel to 2. Change the fire source from mesh to particle system and choose the particle system that you created. Don't change the size because we don't need to. Enable the initial velocity and set it as 7. You're free to add a texture to the fire, but in this case, I'm not going to add anything. And back to the domain to bake the fire. But first make sure to set it as rendered as object and set the object as the icosphere or the emitter. And now click on bake and let's wait. I canceled the bake at 45% just to check how the fire is going, and that's how it looks. Of course, I am not in the render view or the material view. That's why it looks like this. And in the render view, we have this kind of like cloudy or smoky shape. By default, we are given the principal volume shader, and we're going to add to it in order to, get the fire look. Some designers like to, work with the black body settings, but in this case, we are going to use the heat attribute. So Shift A, grab an attribute node and type heat, which automatically uses the heat attribute of the fire, and add 2 color ramp nodes, one for the emission strength and the other is the color or emission color. Connect the factor to both color ramps. Grab another node, which is the math multiply node. Connect the first color ramp to the multiply node, and then the multiply node to the emission strength. However, don't forget to set the density to 0. Also connect the second color ramp to the emission color. In the first color ramp, flip the 2 pointers so the black is on the right side. Add another black pointer or a black color to the right side in a way that we have the white pointer in the middle. Drag the black right pointer towards the white and the other black, so we have a small window of a white color, and that will give the emission this fluctuation in color. Adjust the pointers until you find the the gradient that you like, or the difference between the gray and the white that you actually prefer your fire to look like. And then add an orange orange color to the second color ramp. You can really choose the color that you want your fire to have. It doesn't have to be orange or yellow or even red. Adjust the multiply node, the value number to 4 or 2, or it depends on how you want the strength of the emission to be multiplied by. You can also adjust the scale of the smoke domain. However, I decided to change the resolution to 230 or 230 for higher detail, and then bake it. And that's the final result. You can choose the color that you like, and don't forget to play with the composition tab and add some glow or fog glow to it, like bloom or fog glow using the glare node. Then render it in cycles and enjoy the design. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share. And don't forget to check my Patreon if you want to learn more cool stuff and have access to more tutorials and download the project files. See you soon, and bye for now.